You didn't even know what was happening.
Yeah, you're there. You open this door. Mlango nafunguliwa. Bunge la mtu ndio hiyo. Anakuvuta ndani, anafunga mlango.
Alafu umechapwa.
Unachapwa until you're senseless.
Naandika ivaskan kuna njaa, nenda kupika bila makaa, na waita na mnakata, mnasema pop culture ni ya mavijana, kushiba ni baada ya sala, ni aje watu njua kale, na una watch pop culture na mrembo, adhiambo, au sio? KBC, sigusi udaili mtu wangu.
A very good afternoon to you. It is the 30th of March, the year 2023. A very warm welcome here at KBC Channel 1. We are live here at the Broadcasting House, but we are also live on Facebook, on YouTube, and on Twitter at KBC Channel 1. We are following up on the Azimio planned demonstrations, and we do have reporters stationed across different counties in this country to just give us a feel of how that looks like from where they're at. We are now joined by Zainab Said, who is in Nairobi CBD, and she'll be giving us a live update. Good afternoon, Zainab.
Good afternoon, Nissie, Imano, back at the Broadcasting House. As you rightly put it, I'm in Nairobi CBD. On a normal day, this street, remember on my right, it's the Jivanji Gardens. On a normal day, this place would be packed. But today, inside the Jivanji, we're just seeing police officers seated in there, perhaps just ensuring that no one who's not needed in there goes there to maybe to convene a meeting or anything. So inside there are a number of police officers who are just seated inside there, the Jivanji Garden. And here at the streets, we've seen just few activities. And earlier on, we were at Central Police. Also, we just saw few activities going on there. And also on the University Way, few or light traffic movement. A number, you can count the number of public vehicles and also just private vehicles, but a majority of means maybe of transport. We've seen several motorbikes carrying goods, carrying people. So it seems people are using that, and also just few people around. And we've talked also to people, a few residents of Nairobi who expressed not satisfied with the Maandamano. Remember, this is the first Thursday of demonstrations or mass action called by the Azimio leader, Raila Odinga. Some saying that they've been stopped from doing the activities. They are unable to go on with the activities freely. Shops have been closed. They cannot go on with their daily activities. Others even complaining that their learners or their children who cannot go to school, especially from those areas that are experiencing picketing, or those who their kids learn here in Nairobi or school in Nairobi here at the Moi Avenue, also just expressing their displeasure with the ongoing Maandamano currently in different parts of Nairobi. So here from where we are in Nairobi, minimal activities going on. Traffic is light, but basically there's peace. We've seen a number of police officers going around just ensuring that those who came out to go on with their daily activities are protected. Business that are open today are also protected and go on as usual. Though, as I mentioned, the number of people or activities in around here, it's few. You cannot compare it on a normal Thursday. Back to you in studio, Nissie.
All right, that is our reporter Zainab Said, who is in Nairobi CBD, just kind of giving us a feel of how that looks like. Very few people decided to show up to the CBD today, but heavy police presence just to ensure that the businesses that decided to open today still are able to run peacefully. We are now going to head over to State House Road or Procession Way, if you like, and we will be joined by Andrew Okero, who is our reporter, also to just give us a feel of what that looks like in that particular area. Good afternoon, Andrew.
Hujambo Regina, tuko hapa kama nilivyotaja tu hapo awali, tuko hapa katika barabara ya Processional Way. Ni barabara inayounganisha moja kwa moja kuelekea ikulu ya hapa Nairobi, na vile vile ni mkabala tu na mkahawa wa Serena. Kama mpiga picha wangu anaweza kuangazia tu eneo la Serena katika kuhakikisha kwamba ni kitu gani ambacho kinafanyika katika eneo hili. Shughuli ni za kadri sana, kuashiria kwamba watu ambao wamefika mjini Nairobi ama katika shughuli zao za hapa na pale basi ni wachache mno. Kwa hiyo unaona hata kama matembezi watu ni wachache mno ikilinganishwa na siku za hapo awali, ambapo sehemu hii ungepata watu ni wengi ambao wanapita, si magari na vile vile si watu, si shughuli kadhaa ambazo zilikuwa zinafanyika katika eneo hili. Na vile vile ikumbuke kwamba eneo hili la Processional Way ni barabara inayounganisha ikulu ya hapa Nairobi, na polisi wameendelea kushika doria katika kuhakikisha kwamba usalama umeimarishwa katika eneo hili. Na hapo awali tumeshuhudia magari mengi yakitaka kupitia barabara hii ya Procession Way, lakini yamekuwa yakizuiwa. Hii ni gari moja tu. Unaona kwamba yule polisi anamueleza kwamba eneo hili limefungwa kwa sasa katika kuhakikisha kwamba kuwarahisishia kazi katika kuhakikisha kwamba sehemu zote ama barabara zote zinazoelekea ikulu ya Nairobi zimefungwa kabisa katika kuhakikisha usalama wake. Kwa hiyo tuko hapa katika kuangazia habari moja kwa moja na vile vile kuweza kutathmini kwamba ni mambo gani ambayo yanaendelea na sehemu kadhaa za hapa Nairobi. Upungufu wa watu wanaopita hapa, hii barabara kwa kawaida mtazamaji ingekuwepo na watu wengi mno, lakini kwa sasa nafikiri kwamba kwa sababu ya hali ilivyo kwa sasa kumekuwepo na maandamano. Leo ilikuwa imetangazwa kabisa kwamba kutakuwepo na maandamano. Nafikiri ndio maana watu wengi hawajafika mjini Nairobi ama hawajakuja kwenye shughuli zao mbalimbali, maana hata afisi nyingi zinaonekana kufungwa katika pengine kwa sababu ya kuhofia kwamba hali ya usalama itakuwaje. Kwa hiyo mtazamaji, letu ni kuhakikisha kwamba tunakuletea habari hizi kadri zinavyochipuka. Kwa hiyo tutakuwa tunakita kambi hapa siku nzima, kutwa nzima, katika kuhakikisha kwamba habari ambazo unazipokea mtazamaji ni za kukufikia moja kwa moja. Barabara ya Kenyatta Avenue ambayo inaunganisha Nyerere Road, vile vile nilivyotaja, vyombo vya doria vimetiwa kidete katika kuhakikisha kwamba usalama hapa umeimarishwa, na vile vile barabara zote zinazoelekea ikulu zimeimarishwa. Usalama pia tunaambiwa katika eneo la CBD Nairobi nao umetiwa kasi na hali ni shwari kwa sasa. Kwa hiyo tutakuwa tunakuletea habari hizi Nissie, kama unaweza kunisikia vizuri, tutakuwa tunakuletea habari hizi moja kwa moja. Tuko mbashara kabisa katika eneo hili la State House, na kutoka kwangu kwa sasa ni kusema kwamba tudumishe usalama na vile vile tu hali ya nidhamu iweze kushuhudiwa katika maeneo yote. Nissie.
Indeed, thank you very much, Andrew Okero, reporting from the Procession Way, and that's the junction between the road that goes to Serena Hotel and the other one that goes all the way to State House. We will now head on over to Kisumu County, where our reporter Simon Achola is also on standby to give us that live update. Good afternoon, Simon.
Well, thank you very much, Nissie, and good afternoon. The pictures behind me tell a story of exactly how today has been in Kisumu County. The CBD remains deserted, and most businesses are actually closed, with very minimal movement of those who want to do various activities in town. Police have taken strategic positions, and they have been engaging the demonstrators since morning up until now. The running battles are ongoing. But just to paint a picture of exactly what is happening here in Kisumu, my colleague Martin will just get to show you on our left, on our right. This is one of the largest shopping mall or retail mall here in Kisumu County. Is known as United Mall, and hosts a number of outlets that sell various goods, and as you can see, it is actually closed, and this has been the story each and every time we are having demonstrations here in Kisumu. That is last week on Monday, this week on Monday, and of course today. As you've seen, the roads, very minimal movement in terms of traffic, save for one or two motorbikes plying the route, and you will ask yourself if indeed those passengers who are actually coming right into the CBD, but most of them are actually people who are actually just checking to get to understand what is happening here in town. Yesterday, Professor Peter Anyang' Nyong'o did suspend the demonstrations before retracting that statement. Probably the question you will be asking yourself is that did they participate in the demonstrations today in the morning, and what has been the outcome? They did, part of the county leadership did meet demonstrators at Kondele roundabout, which is usually the meeting point when demonstrations are to happen here in Kisumu, and they marched with the demonstrators up until this Patel roundabout, and this is actually proving to be the epicenter of demonstrations here in Kisumu town. And after getting there, a number of policemen were actually barricading this road at this very position, and after a short while they actually directed to use the Stadium Road, the Moi Stadium Road, towards Nyamasaria. But of course, after getting towards that particular direction, most of them split into smaller groups, and they began engaging the police in running battles, and that has been the situation since morning up until now. I will also, Nissie, tell you the exact situation on various roads coming in and out of Kisumu town. I'll give you details of this Kakamega Kisumu road, and this is practically impassable, especially for those who are actually coming from Kakamega wanting to access Kisumu CBD. Youths have actually been engaging policemen and security forces right all the way to Kondele and moving downwards. Also, we are made to understand that Busia Road is also a number of barricades that have actually been erected along the road, and it's proving practically impossible for those who want to come from outside Kisumu and using that road to actually come into Kisumu County. Nyamasaria is still the same situation, so that is basically what is happening. But yesterday, Nyong'o didn't call on people to come out in large numbers to demonstrate, yes, but that those who will actually be coming out to participate in this demonstration must ensure that they actually uphold peace and they carry out in a manner that will not destroy property in Kisumu County. That has not been the case. We have seen youth actually engaging policemen in running battles the better part of the morning. The other thing that I've already talked about it, but I will not. I will also talk about it, is a fact that Professor Peter Anyang' Nyong'o finds himself in a delicate situation. This is not the first time that he's actually tried to suspend demonstrations in Kisumu County. Remember in 2017 when he elected, one of the key issues that he actually pointed out strongly was the fact that he wanted a situation where the narrative around Kisumu County, especially after general elections, will change, and so that then we can actually invest, so that we can actually attract investors in this county. And that, of course, led to him then suspending demonstrations within CBD. And the other thing that he did also suspend at that point in time was the issue of mourners going through the CBD and ensuring that that if you wanted to demonstrate, then you do it outside CBD. Yesterday, he did try again to suspend demonstration, but of course, given the pressure that came from the locals and the consultations, as he puts it, from the national government, it was difficult for him to actually ensure that indeed he follows through his suspension. But one other thing that he said was that he will call on the demonstrators and leaders to ensure that even as they go out there and demonstrate, that indeed they do it in a manner that will not scare investors in this region or those who actually want to come to Kisumu County. So, Nissie, we will continue to keep a keen eye on what is happening in Kisumu, and no doubt our listeners and viewers, we will brief them in our subsequent bulletin, giving them every detail that would have happened in Kisumu County. Back to you, Nissie.
Thank you very much. That is Achola Simon, who has been giving us an update on what is happening in the lakeside city of Kisumu. We will now head on over to Mombasa County, where Michael Mwandiga is our reporter, who will be giving us an update also from Mombasa. Good afternoon, Michael.
Well, Nissie, good afternoon to you. Indeed, as you had put it there, we are coming to you live from Mombasa County. And indeed, just some few minutes ago, we are from Dhuhuri prayers. Remember that it's Ramadan, the holy month of Ramadan. And as Muslims observe the 5 pillars of Ramadan, of course, the prayers, and that's from Dhuhuri prayers. But where I am right now is a place known as the Sabasaba Junction, which joins the roads of all the way from the Nyali Bridge. And on my left, this is the industrial area of Mombasa, that is the size of Majengo. And right where I'm standing, this road is actually the Jomo Kenyatta Avenue, which stretches all the way to the Makupa Causeway, joining the places of Changamwe, Mikindani, and Jomvu. And just to bring you up to speed on what is happening. The pictures we're seeing right here, this is the Jomo Kenyatta Avenue. Back there is stretching the cars which are oncoming. They are coming from the CBD. And as you can see, traffic officers are there just executing the mandate of ensuring that the traffic is flowing seamless. And the cars you're seeing right here, where my cameraman is showing you, that road is leading all the way to the Nyali Bridge, right here from Sabasaba Junction. And just to bring you up to speed with how things are right now in Mombasa, is calmness has been experienced from the better part of the day. That's from as early as 5 a.m. as I had engaged some retailers earlier on, saying that they had opened their businesses earlier on, and they're anticipating this calmness carries on the better part of the day. And as they had alluded earlier on, is that they had opened their businesses, and indeed the inflow of customers is not as usual, but it's at snail pace, and but nothing to be worried about. A spot check we also did in some areas of Likoni. We also did a spot check in Changamwe, and the schools around is just learning. Is carrying on okay, and pupils are at school learning, and nothing has been disrupted. Mombasa has been calm, nothing to report on demos, and so far all is well in Mombasa County. Things are just calm, and earlier on police officers had been doing patrol in the CBD and its outskirts, just to ensure that there's normalcy, everything is on as expected, and everyone is just carrying on with his or her daily activities, just to ensure that they put something on their table for their families. Nissie, there's nothing much to report about, just calmness being experienced over here, and as residents had alluded earlier on, they're expecting this calmness to carry the better part of the day. Nissie, nothing much to report on, and back to you in Broadcasting House.
All right, that is our reporter Michael Mwandiga just reporting and giving us a feel of what the roads look like in Mombasa County. Businesses continue uninterrupted in that particular county. Of course, with heavy police presence or security has been beefed up in that particular county. We had talked to Zainab, who was in CBD. She also mentioned that relatively in Nairobi compared to Mombasa, the streets are relatively empty, but a few traders had opened business, and police was going to ensure or is continuing to ensure that the peace and the calm remains. So that's a report from Nairobi and Kisumu, and we are now joined by Alvin Kaunda, who is a reporter also. He's in Koinange Street in Nairobi County, and he'll also be giving us an update from that particular street. Good afternoon, Alvin.
Yes, good afternoon, Nissie. Thank you very much. I am coming to you live from the Nairobi Central Business District along Koinange Street, and so far so good. We are seeing most businesses are open, and some of them are also closed due to the fear of and also there's rising tension of the ongoing protest across the country. And we've talked to some of the residents and asked them about the thoughts of what's going on, and they have told us that we have had mixed reactions from the residents. Some of them are against the protests due to the amount of chaos that is being caused across the country, and some of them are joining hands, saying that they join hands with the protests because mainly because of the high cost of living. And in terms of security, we can see, as we were doing our survey along the streets of Nairobi to this point, we saw police vehicles deployed in different parts of the city, and even on the streets there were 1 or 2 police officers walking doing the surveys. And nothing much has been witnessed in terms of the protest, nothing serious, and so far so good. Yeah, and we'll just be bringing you updates as time goes by. Nothing much. Back to you in studio, Nissie.
Thank you, Alvin Kaunda. And we do have a couple of our reporters stationed in different parts across the counties in this country to just continue to give us a feel of what is happening in the particular counties that they're in with the weekly protests that have been called or continue in the country, called by Azimio la Umoja or One Kenya Coalition. So generally largely peaceful, apart from a pocket of youth or youth engaging security in Kisumu County, but that has also been kind of dealt with. So a few roads barricaded in the county, and there is limited access to certain roads, not just in Kisumu County, but also in Nairobi. Our reporters are on that beat. We will be giving you an update throughout the day, so keep it here. Now, the opposition has once again made good its threat and taken to the streets to pressure the government to yield to its demand for economic reforms and electoral justice. For the third time in a fortnight, Raila Odinga supporters are engaging police in running battles in different parts of the country amid calls for an end to the political impasse.
Mimi ile jambo naweza ambia kiongozi wetu wa Azimio, kwa sababu niko Wiper, tuongee na if possible tujiulize nini ilifanya tukaanguka.
Tunataka pesa ya kufunda activities, capitation monies, but if the economy cannot improve and is being derailed further by this maandamano and grandstanding between our leaders, sidhani kama Kenya yetu ita-improve, hata hiyo capitation itakuwa ngumu kidogo.
Nataka viongozi hao waongee, then the grandstanding that is there that we see will cease, and in the process the economy will grow and we will have our teachers.
We are appealing to the leadership, both the opposition and the government, to sit down and have a very serious dialogue. Hata Waswahili hawakukosea waliposema kuongea ni kuelewana.
Service Commission has shortlisted 12 candidates for the position of the Deputy Inspector General of the Kenya Police Service. The position was declared vacant following the retirement of Edward Mbogwa. Members of the public have been requested to submit memorandums on the shortlisted candidates.
The National Police Service Commission received a total of 30 applications for the position of Deputy Inspector General of Police. 12 candidates were shortlisted for consideration. They include Acting Deputy Inspector General Abdallah Komesha, former police spokesperson Bruno Shioso, Birech David Kipkosgei, Dr. Vincent Makoha Kinas, Jacinta Mothoni, and Maurice Kipkoech Kiplagat. National Police Service Commission Chairperson Eliud Kinothia noted that vetting of the shortlisted candidates will be on Tuesday, April 4th this year at the Kenya School of Government. Shortlisted candidates have been instructed to bring their original national identity card, academic certificates including transcripts and professional certificates, and any other supporting documents and testimonials. The National Police Service, which is headed by Inspector General Japheth Koome, has 2 deputies, one in charge of the Kenya Police Service and the other in charge of the Administration Police. Jacqueline Masharia for Lunchtime News.
A food crisis looms in Mandera County after crops in more than 1,000 acres of farms under irrigation were swept away by floods. Farmers along the riverine areas of Burabor, Bella and Kalalio in Mandera East are among those counting losses after River Dawa burst its banks.
Farmers in Bora Bora, Bella and Kalalio area of Mandera East have grown kales, tomatoes, maize and watermelons on riparian land near River Dawa. All have been destroyed by floods following heavy rains experienced in Mandera County and from the Ethiopian highlands. Affected farmers are appealing to the county and national government to provide them with diesel generator pump to draw water from the farms.
Kila mara ukame huwa inatokanga hapa area ni ya ukame ni kawaida, lakini kuna wakati tunapata mvua vizuri. Wakati tunapata mvua vizuri, alhamdulillah, hiyo mvua huwa analetanga shida ya floods. Hatuwezi laumu binadamu, hiyo ni uwezo ya Mungu. Tumepata na niyo uwezo ya Mungu. Lakini hapo mwaka 10 tuliopita tulipata floods mara 8. Hii ni ya 9 ya leo.
Kuna mvuriko zimekuwa zaidi, lakini ukame inaendelea. Na yale ile matunda kidogo au yani vegetables kidogo walikuwa napata imeharibiwa na mafuriko.
The Kenya Meteorological Department has predicted the current rains pounding several parts of the country will continue until mid-April. For Lunchtime News, I'm Zairuk Abdi.
All right, it is time for a break, but we'll be back with so much more. Do stay with us.
The Mozart Bait Cup enters the round of 16 on the 1st and 2nd of April 2023. 11 top-tier teams, 3 National Super League sides and 2 from FKF Division 1 side meet in the Clash of Titans. 2009 KPL champions Sofapaka will square it out with Darajani Gogo of Kibera from 1 p.m. on Saturday the 1st of April 2023 before Kenya Police lock horns with Ulinzi Stars in an all-forces derby at 3 p.m. at the Kenyatta Stadium in Machakos. On Sunday, the 2nd of April 2023, Kariobangi Sharks will be up against Equity from 1 p.m. as they pave way for the clash between Premier League sides KCB and Bidco United at 3 p.m. at the Kasarani Annex. Catch all the actions live and exclusive on KBC Channel 1. Who will be the 2023 undisputed champion of the Mozart Bait Cup and get the golden chance of representing Kenya in the CAF Confederation Cup tournament. KBC Channel 1, your true sports partner.
Tulia. Mbona hukuniambia?
Farah,
Mam, mbona hukuniambia?
mimi ukinisaidia vile unataka, mimi nitakujenga.
There are rumors that you have another family.
Well, this is my family and I think it's one.
Senior Sergeant Farah, you're in charge of the team.
To get Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5 as your skiza tune, dial *811 *967 hash.
Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not in your own understanding. In all your ways, submit to him, and he will make your path straight. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5 to 6.
To get Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5, dial *811 *967 hash. *811 *967 hash.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. Now, residents of Gede in Ganze sub-county in Kilifi County have repossessed 60,000 acres of their community ranch, which had been grabbed by unscrupulous land cartels. Through the intervention of Kilifi Governor Gideon Mungaro, Gede Mitangani Group Ranch was reverted to the community and issued a title deed. Speaking during the rewarding of the title deed to the community, Governor Mungaro said some well-known land grabbers formed a ranch using fake documents to deprive the locals of their ancestral land.
Kwa hivyo lazima tuwe na mikakati. Na mimi ndio nilipokuwa kwa Wizara ya Ardhi nilianzisha mikakati. Ndio mnaona tunagawanya hiyo Kayafungo, tumegawanya Adu, na hapa tulikuwa tumeanza hii mnaita Gede Mitangani, lakini ilikuwa inaitwa Kilifi Ranch. Kuna wakora wengine wakajaribu kutoa title deed, lakini mimi nikapata zile minutes kama alivyosema mheshimiwa kwamba hii shamba ilienda kwa DDC Kilifi. Hiyo miaka huko nyuma ikapitishwa, lakini wale madirector hawakuenda wakatengeza makaratasi.
Tunaomba kupitia katika idara ya ardhi uweze kuwekezwa pesa ili hizi ranches tuziweze kuziconvert kutoka ranches ziwe community land kulingana na Community Land Act ya 2016.
Gavana na waziri wetu wa ardhi, kwa niaba ya hawa wananchi, ningeomba muweze kutupatia land rates waiver until tufanye subdivisions.
And the Department of Lands and Urban Planning has revoked the allotment of 54 acres of land in Kiboko B settlement scheme, Kimbo Village in Makueni County, over the controversial manner the land was allocated. The decision by the county's Land Executive Committee member Sonia Nzilani stems from a 2015 National Land Commission advisory that the land allotted to some absentee squatters in 1999 be subdivided and newly allotted to at least 41 squatters who had settled on it. Dr. Sonia said a thorough verification exercise will be undertaken to verify genuine squatters before allotment.
After that report, NLC said no more allotment should be done to individuals until we do verification of the squatters and give them the lands. So we are just reverting back to 2015 declaration by NLC.
Elsewhere, a new bulky water supply project that is set to benefit 350,000 people in Kirinyaga County will be launched in 2 months. Water, Sanitation and Irrigation Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome says the Kirinyaga bulky water supply project that will give water to 4 major towns in the county is almost complete.
Water, Sanitation and Irrigation Cabinet Secretary Alice Wahome said the project will improve water quantity, quality and reliability within Kerugoya, Kutus, Kagio and Sagana towns.
We have invested 1.1 billion shillings for the water system itself, and then for the sewerage, another 500 million Kenya shillings, which is one of the biggest small town water and sewerage systems that we have in the country.
Speaking during an inspection tour of the project, Wahome, who was accompanied by Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru, said the new system will supply the residents with an additional 30,000 cubic meters of water daily.
We are collaborating, but a lot of the support will be coming from the national government. There will be low-cost housing in the place, and now we're very happy, Waziri, because the water that you're bringing to Sagana will serve that project, especially the low-cost housing and the industries that are going to be set up there.
The system will draw water from intakes at Kiriga and Thiba rivers, with the main treatment plant being located in the Muratiri area. The development comes amid calls by Laikipia County Deputy Governor Ruben Kamuri on the government to commence the construction of the bulk water storage dams in the Mount Kenya and Aberdare regions to help solve the recurrent water shortage in the Ewasonyiro ecosystem.
Other dams ambazo zimetengwa kama uko Kahurura Dam, it is a dam like itakuwa na kama 4.5 million cubic meters ambao pia itaweza kusaidia kama 20,000 households.
Meanwhile, Kenyans have been urged to take advantage of the ongoing heavy downpour to plant trees to help mitigate the adverse effects of climate change.
Miti tukipanda mingi hasa huko pahali za juu, pahali tunategemea maji itakuwa imezuiwa kuteremka kwa mito, na tukifanya hivyo maji itakuwa na sisi na eneo letu hasa kwa milima tutakuwa tumezingatia mikakati ile imetengwa na dunia yote kukabidhiana na haya mambo ya kubadilika kwa hewa.
Speaking at Matopeni Primary School, where he spearheaded the planting of over 300 trees, Ruiru MP Simon Kingara said the practice should be inculcated in learners to mold them into future protectors of the ecosystem. Arnold Feather for Lunchtime News.
All right, switching gears to matters security now, where a 60-year-old man killed by bandits in Yatia, Saimosoi, Baringo North on Wednesday, even as two brothers, both victims of banditry attacks, were being laid to rest. The man who was stealing his land was killed by armed bandits who later made away with a known number of livestock to neighboring Tiati sub-county. Miles away from Yatia village, two brothers, Raymond Chatalam and Kemboi Chepchieng, were buried in Naiben village. Area leaders called for deployment of more security officers to deal with the runaway banditry attacks in the North Rift region.
What is the madness? Hii madness hii wasimu ni gani tena? Sasa tunaweka hawa wawili, moja nawekwa so that we are busy coming to bury people. It must stop. It must stop by fire, by crook, by anything. It must stop.
Tutabetition parliament. Hii operation ifanywe ya ukweli. Tunadebetisha na tunadraft barua yetu, tumeenda kwa legal office yetu, tunadraft barua na wakati wote tunapeleka kwa assembly. I mean kwa National Assembly ndio wapitisha huko, because tumeona mara mingi ni kama kuna kitu mjeza inaendelea.
And in Kilifi County, residents of the Jacaranda area of Malindi sub-county are calling for speedy investigations into the brutal murder of a village elder who is also a land right activist more than a week ago. The residents believe 49-year-old Edric Mwanyonyo Mwanzani was killed due to his role in fighting for land rights within the Chembe Kibabanche settlement scheme, where he was also the chairman of the local land allocation committee.
At the homestead of the late Edric Mwanyonyo Mwanzani, arrangements for his burial are ongoing. Family members and neighbors are yet to come to terms with his untimely demise.
Hatujaambiwa lolote, nothing is going on. Na imekuwa sasa shida hata jamii kuishi hapa. Kwa sababu we are not informed of what is going on. Na pili, hata jamii hapa. Maanake wameanza hapa, isipochukuliwa hatua madhubuti zaidi, they will continue, wataendelea tu katakata. Kila mnyonge ambaye labda analia shamba lake na hana uwezo, itabidi akatwe ili watishike waondoke, watu wachukue mashamba.
Mzee wetu ameuawa na hana vita na mtu yoyote huku, na hakujauawa mtu yoyote, tunadhania ni haya mambo na mashamba.
They narrated how 3 masked gangsters, one armed with an AK-47 rifle, one with a machete and the other with pepper, stormed their house as they were taking supper.
Na pia hata watu wengine pia wako hofu, manake sasa hivi watu wanaogopa hata kutembea maybe na usiku kwa sababu ya hiyo kisa ambacho kilifanyika.
Sasa naomba serikali iwe simama kati, kwa sababu kwamba kuna kesi ambayo inaendelea kotini, na ninadhania hao ambao tunagombezana huko kotini ndio wameleta hao magaidi kuja kutuua sisi.
Villagers say the incident has sparked fear in the entire Jacaranda community and are calling for more security patrols in the area. Nasra Aden for Lunchtime News.
Let's take a look at the day's business, where the government has so far laid 25,000 kilometers of the fiber optic cable in a plan that will see laying on an additional 100,000 kilometers of the digital superhighway in the next 5 years. Information, Communication and the Digital Economy Cabinet Secretary Eliud Owalo says the government has onboarded contractors that will lay 52,000 kilometers of the fiber optic cable, while the private sector will lay 48,000 kilometers of the optic network.
Already had forums of engagement between us, the integral players within the public sector and the private sector, so that we agree on what each and every integral stakeholder segment is going to deliver as far as the digital superhighway is concerned. That process has already been embarked on. We have already onboarded contractors who are going to roll out the government component of the digital superhighway. Between now and June, we envisage that we should be able to do another 5,000 kilometers. The medical record of an individual Kenyan can be obtained from birth to date. That will ensure that we cut down the costs, because we will not be having duplicity of effort. You move from one medical facility to another, you are being asked to undertake the same processes you had undertaken in the previous hospital that you had been to, or which you had gone through with your previous doctor. We want to leverage on technology to ensure that our land registry is fully automated, the processes there are fully digitalized, the records are digitized. On digital entrepreneurship, we have reached out to the private sector, most so the telecommunication company. They have come together as much as they are competitors, but they have realized that they can come together to enjoy economies of scale and help us fill the void of smart but cheap smart enabled phones that we are experiencing in the market.
Moving on, agriculture companies are banking on technology and innovations to deal with the effects of climate change. This has seen the development of drought and pest-resistant seeds that are giving hope to farmers in the face of worsening weather patterns. Health and Agriculture Farm Bayer East Africa says it has developed high-yielding drought-resistant seeds that can withstand long dry spells.
One of our drivers in terms of Hunger for None is to provide modern technology, modern agricultural technology to farmers, independent of whether they're professional farmers like large-scale farmers, or, as I mentioned, smallholder farmers that have even more dire need of obviously more technology. And with such technologies like obviously seeds, but also pesticides, digital farming technologies, and also biotechnology are playing a very, very important role when we're talking about food security, when we're talking about agricultural productivity, and when we talk about having an impact to making farming more sustainable.
Elsewhere, the Kenya Tourism Board is calling for strengthened partnerships with trade stakeholders and county governments that will leverage on travel trade as a means of spurring tourism numbers in the country. Kenya Tourism Board Acting CEO John Chirchir says tapping into travel trade will ensure tourists enjoy seamless hospitality services that have mapped out Kenya as a preferred tourist destination.
The hospitality industry continues to record improved tourist arrivals as it steadily recovers from the COVID-19 pandemic aftershocks. Kenya registered a 72.4% recovery growth in the number of international visitor arrivals in 2022, which exceeded the global average recovery rate of 63%. The Kenya Tourism Board is working towards creating avenues that will showcase opportunities for market growth both domestically and internationally.
The main thrust of it was how do we increase their businesses? How do we diversify our tourism product to make it, to rejuvenate it, to spread it across Kenya, and to also open up new areas that sort of are undiscovered or do not receive a large number of tourism footfall.
He has called for integration with various government agencies that will broaden the scope of tourism within counties.
They remain a key component from which we'll continue marketing and growing, partnering as well with counties and product developers across Kenya. And we'll be mapping out the same and bringing them into the marketing channels that we have so that they will be discovered and be known, not only domestically, regionally, but also internationally.
Stakeholders have affirmed their commitment to furthering the tourism industry's growth through the promotion of sustainable tourism initiatives and products to help unlock the potential of the domestic markets by building traveler confidence.
And see that our numbers will increase. We'll probably end with another increase year on year at the end of this year. And if the partnership continues, we continue opening new products, we continue looking at new areas, we continue insisting on sustainability, then we will see very positive growth.
The bed occupancy of the domestic market is projected to increase by 10% during the 2023 Easter holiday. Nduta Mokami for Lunchtime News.
And the Public Service Commission has embarked on a recruitment exercise for a new Central Bank of Kenya governor to succeed Dr. Patrick Njoroge, whose term ends in less than 3 months. Dr. Njoroge, who is the 9th Central Bank governor, is expected to leave office on the 18th of June 2023 after serving 2 terms of 4 years that began in 2015.
The position for the 10th Central Bank of Kenya governor is exclusive to Kenyan citizens who have a bachelor's and a master's degree in economics, banking, finance, or law. Additionally, the applicants are required to have at least 10 years of experience at senior management level in the field of economics, banking, finance, or law, or other fields relevant to the functions of the central bank, knowledgeable with experience in monetary, financial banking, and economic matters, or other disciplines relevant to the functions of a CBK governor. Outgoing Governor Dr. Patrick Njoroge, a former International Monetary Fund economist, has been at the helm of the central bank for 8 years and has been instrumental in, among others, formulation of regulations that have stabilized and strengthened the bank sector after a series of bank runs in 2016, demonetization of the 1,000 currency notes, as well as issuance of the new currency coins and notes, and development of regulations for the digital lenders. The Public Service Commission is also seeking to fill the position of a second CBK deputy governor to replace Sheila Mbijewe, whose term is also expiring in June. The search for the second deputy governor's position comes after the appointment of Dr. Susan Koech in the position earlier this month to fill the position left by Harun Sirma, who took up a role as the Director General of the Public Debt Management Office. The Public Service Commission expects applications to be submitted by 19th of next month. Nduta Mokami for Lunchtime News.
The government is seeking public feedback from next month on the proposed investment promotion levy, which will see additional charges put on any imported goods that could be manufactured locally. The Ministry of Investment, Trade and Industry says if implemented, the policy will promote domestic industries and improve export growth from the current 6% to more than 25%.
Kenya has an untapped annual export potential of 450 billion shillings, which when fully exploited can create an additional 400,000 direct and indirect jobs. Currently, the country only rakes in 73 billion shillings from exports, providing 200,000 in direct and indirect jobs. This is further exacerbated by the declining rate of foreign direct investment contribution to the GDP, dropping from 3.1% to 0.4%. The government says to remedy this, there is a need to reduce the stiff competition local manufacturers are facing from cheap imported goods, hindering them from achieving maximum production capacity. To protect local industries and MSMEs in the manufacturing sector, the government hopes this will also incentivize players in the sector, increasing revenue for the country while creating a more level playing field for local manufacturers who have struggled to compete with cheaper imports. In addition, the ministry says this will reduce the country's reliance on foreign goods and services, creating a self-sufficient economy that is less vulnerable to external economic shocks. The public participation rallying industry players' opinions will start from the 4th of next month in 12 select counties. Hibak Said for Lunchtime News.
Brazil's new energy vehicles are accounting for a larger share of the market, according to the latest forecast report released by the Brazilian Association of Electric Vehicle. The production of pure electric vehicles and hybrid vehicles powered by electricity and ethanol in Brazil will increase by around 75% year-on-year in 2023. Here are the details of this and other stories making headlines across the globe.
Auto industry experts believe that the reduction in vehicle costs brought about by the technological innovations and the price advantage of bioethanol over petrol are the key factors for Brazil's new energy vehicles to gain consumer acceptance. The significant increase in the production of electric vehicles is closely related to the cost reduction due to technological innovation. The higher cost of battery manufacturing is the main reason for the higher price of electric vehicles. In the 3 years since electric vehicles entered the Brazilian market, many car manufacturers have reduced battery costs through the application of new technologies, thereby reducing the price of vehicles by about 10%, which is more favored by consumers. Meanwhile, the Japanese government has decided at a cabinet meeting to spend about $16.72 billion out of its 2022 fiscal reserve funds to help low-income families and enterprises ease the pain of accelerating inflation. The funds will be used to provide benefits to low-income families and support enterprises in coping with the shocks of rising prices. As food prices remain high in Japan, many people are feeling increasing pressure of life. More than 14,000 food items are expected to carry higher price tags in the period of January to April this year, which is 2.6 times that of the same period last year. Japan's food price, excluding fresh foods, rose by 7.8% in February, the highest increase rate over the past 46 years and 7 months. Finally, an Indian appeals court has upheld a $160 million fine imposed on Google by the country's antitrust regulator in a case related to Android's market dominance. The court said the Competition Commission of India findings were correct and Google was liable to pay the fine. But it sets aside 4 of 10 antitrust directives imposed on the firm. In October, the Competition Commission of India accused Google of exploiting its dominant position and imposed the fine for unfair business practices. It also asked Google to make several changes to the Android ecosystem. This included not forcing manufacturers to pre-install the entire suite of Google apps and allowing users to choose their default search engine.
And in sports, Fridolina Rolfo scored twice as Barcelona thrashed Roma 5-1 to secure progression to the Women's Champions League semi-finals. Meanwhile, Arsenal put in a stunning display at the Emirates Stadium after coming from behind to register a 2-0 win in their Women's Champions League quarter-final tie with Bayern Munich. Arsenal had lost 1-0 in the first leg away in Germany.
Fresh from scoring the only goal in Barcelona's win over Real Madrid in the league on Saturday, Sweden forward Rolfo lashed onto a loose ball that Roma had been unable to properly clear and calmly slotted it into the bottom right corner for the opener. Then she tapped in from Caroline Graham Hansen's low driving cross after Lionel Keira Walsh had set up to put the home side in control.
Mappy Leon, she tries it. Oh my words!
Oshoala nudged home Barca's fourth goal 1 minute into the second half, tapping in from Aitana Bonmati's cross before Guyaro's header from a corner sealed their spot in the semi-final.
Graham Hansen, right across it goes, tap in for Rolfo. That is 3.
Meanwhile, Arsenal put in a stunning display at Emirates Stadium to come from behind in their Women's Champions League quarter-final tie with Bayern Munich, needing to overturn a 1-0 first leg deficit to make the semi-finals for the first time in a decade. Arsenal was intense from the onset. Frida Manom scored one of the goals of the season when she struck the ball beautifully into the top corner after being teed up by a flick from Leah Williamson to open proceedings. Stina Blanksteiners scored the second goal to assure Arsenal the victory.
What a finish from Frida Manom! That is the response.
And world number 2, Ariana Sabalenka, suffered a surprise straight set defeat as Romania's Sorana Cristea and the biggest win of her career to reach the Miami Open semi-finals. The unseeded Cristea will play Petra Kvitova or Ekaterina Alexandrova in her last 4 appearance at a WTA 1000 event for nearly 10 years.
Cristea beat Australian Open champion Sabalenka 6-4, 6-4 to record her first win over top 3 ranked opponent. Cristea, the only unseeded player to make the last 8 of the women's draw, is yet to drop a set in a 5-match streak in Miami, who also seen her eliminate world number 4 Caroline Garcia.
Oh, it's a nice combination. 40-15.
The unseeded Cristea will play Petra Kvitova or Ekaterina Alexandrova in her last 4 appearance at the WTA 1000 event for nearly 10 years.
Is her reaction. What a performance from Sorana Cristea.
In the men's draw, Italian 10th seed Jannik Sinner overcame 2 hours rain delay to advance in the semi-finals. Sinner is still yet to lose a set of Miami, and he was eventually